like this game of life I've said is like an MMO RPG. Like I play World of Warcraft and it's literally like these fights are quests and sometimes I complete the quest and sometimes I fucking fail, but you know that
Yeah.
next time around that I'm coming with some more info and another piece of gear or whatever it is. And that has been my life. And I got guys now that have beaten me in the past who won't fight me today because they've seen what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just about like going for the finish, not being worried about any consequences, and just like being yourself. If you're in the cage and you're not 100% sure who you are, it is a tough place to be. And I think for
Yeah.
a long time, I was still trying to discover who I was. And in those losses is really where I figured out, like, bro, you are a fucking animal god. And all you got to
Yeah.
do is just go have fun, throw your hands at people and try to kill them. And at least I'm going to make exciting memories and be considered one of the best fighters of all time. And that's what I'm in it for right now.
Johnny, you're a pro MMA fighter. You're a coach, man. Thank you so much for taking the time, man. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. I love doing things like this and kind of just getting my message out there and getting to interact with different folk. And it's an honor to be a guest. So thank you.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I love to start off by going back a bit. What was childhood like for you? Where did you grow up, man?
I grew up in Massachusetts, and it was a hockey growing up. That's what I did all the time.
Nice.
So, I mean, I played a lot of different sports early on, but like, midway through my adolescence, it was the dedication to hockey full time. I played high school hockey, varsity level hockey, and loved every second of it. I played a little bit of juniors and wanted to go to school to play hockey, but I mean, although now I'd consider myself in some ways an intellectual, then especially, I was just not into the grind that school was, and it just wasn't to be. So I never followed through with any kind of collegiate aspirations, and found mixed martial arts in my late teens, and it's in a lot of ways it like saved my life for sure. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I had a pretty typical childhood. I was pretty angry in a lot of ways, and I was small. I was always on like the 20th percentile in
Okay.
on like the graphs and the charts and things. And although I excelled athletically, there was always this like little guy syndrome that lived inside of me that didn't go away for until maybe like my fucking mid 20s or something. So
Yeah.
but yeah, my life, my adolescence at least, was like super relaxed and chill. But at the same time, any damage that I caused to myself was always self-inflicted. So I got to learn from a lot of mistakes and things that I made, and but it made me the man, I guess, right, that I am today. So yeah, it was a blessing. My childhood was a blessing.
Nice, man. I've actually had a few fighters on my show that were former hockey players. So I love to, it's interesting to hear that transition, the athleticism that comes from hockey to the MMA side of things. But looking at your record on Tapology, they show that your first MMA fight was back in 2009. Is that correct, or was it earlier than that?
Yeah, no, 2000, I think, yeah, 2009. I fought like a few amateurs right off the bat.
Okay.
Like, I'd have to look at it, but like months in between each other, if that sometimes, and went
Nice.
immediately into the pro rankings, knew that's what I wanted to do, and jumped
Yeah.
right the F in. And yeah, like started learning lessons right off the bat. And again, all like self-inflicted stuff that I just needed to like put myself through in order to grow to be the person that I knew that I would be. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, going pro 2010, I think. So yeah, '09, some few AMI fights, then right into the pro ranks. We didn't mess around. Social sport fighting makes good fighters, and we just jumped right the F in.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's awesome. And then looking at your record, like in 2018 to the early of 2019, you had 3 losses in a row. And I saw you say in an interview that you learn a little bit from every loss. What did you learn from those losses that has you on this 4-fight win streak? I think there's even a grappling win in there as well, man.
Yep. So Gary V, I think if you listen to the inspirational speaker, that guy, I mean, he's just tremendous.
Yeah.
And he mentions at least a handful of times about not giving a fuck. And I think that like at the end of the day, that's what I learned from a lot of these losses was like, I just don't really give a fuck anymore. You know, if I went, we could go through step by step each, you know, fight and what it taught me, like in that moment. It's like this game of life, I've said, is like an MMO RPG. Like I play World of Warcraft, and it's literally like these fights are quests, and sometimes I complete the quest and sometimes I fucking fail, but you know that next time around that I'm coming with some more info and another piece of gear or whatever it is. And that has been my life. And I got guys now that have beaten me in the past who won't fight me today because they've seen what I'm doing. And yeah, it's just about like going for the finish, not being worried about any consequences, and just like being yourself. If you're in the cage and you're not 100% sure who you are, it is a tough place to be. And I think for a long time I was still trying to discover who I was, and in those losses is really where I figured out, like, bro, you are a fucking animal god, and all you gotta do is just go have fun, throw your hands at people and try to kill them, and at least I'm gonna make exciting memories and be considered one of the best fighters of all time. And that's what I'm in it for right now.
Come on, man. Where does your drive to be successful in fighting in life come from, man?
It is just like an internal thing. I think most people have it. I mean, for you to be doing what you're doing, there's like a drive in there that, like, you know, maybe you do know exactly what it is, but not everybody does. And it just, I can, you know, I was doing hill sprints today, and I get the thought a lot of times when I'm working out to like the point of exhaustion and like the brink of what I have. And it is always like, there's a question of like, you could stop, sort of, right? But there's like this is what I do. I've been doing this since like you know, two months old or whatever. I was, you know, whatever it was, climbing shit I shouldn't have been climbing. Yeah. Moving forward, I'm like playing hockey and you know, jamming my body into people that are twice my size, and I'm bundling guys that I shouldn't be bundling. It's just like, this is just a fucking grind, and I love it. And that is like, it just is an internal drive that you, to be remembered or to be the best or whatever it is, there's something. Human beings always want to innovate, and you know, and I want to be like the Elon Musk of fighting, and I think that I'm on my path, man. And sometimes the best fighters in the world have gritty ass records, and that's totally, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you get the nickname Cupcakes?
Cupcakes, just, it was like a natural like butterfly that kind of like came in. There's a t-shirt company that's like relatively gigantic. They have like England and California, Boston. They have all these like boutique like shops all over the place. And they originated from Massachusetts. People call me Johnny. Somebody just like uttered it one day, Johnny Cupcakes. And then next thing I know, I'm walking out for my first fight like 3 weeks later, and they're like, Johnny Cupcakes Campbell. And dude, it was not long before people were calling me exclusively Cupcakes. And and I just dig it. I felt like South Shore sport fighting kind of like does breed that like, we don't give a fuck kind of mentality. So like, we like having kind of quirky nicknames, and so it just fit in a way. And it would be so easy for me to be like ego driven and be like, nah, dude, nah, I'm not being that, you know, that's ridiculous. Come up with something different. But nah, forget that. I'm here to just be, you know, the universe is, we're all gonna die one day, and there's no stopping that. And if you fight every little thing in your life, then you will get nowhere. And I feel like I could have been hung up on Cupcakes, and it was like, no, I'm going to ride this like a dragon. And I love it. I think it's freaking awesome. I think it's hilarious. And people love it. Kids love it. Adults love it. It's just like, people understand that Cupcakes doesn't have to mean what it always says, right? Friends, they did an episode where it was like, you're gonna pull a Monica, and that was always like a bad thing. And then it was like, nah, shift that shit. It's a good thing. Life is perfect, and we should always say thank you. So again, I'm like so grateful to be that like different fighter who's not, you know, the whatever, you know, the muscle bound, you know, meathead. I like that I'm different, so it's beautiful.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Now, you fought for a lot of promotions throughout your career, the majority of being like Cage Titans. I've heard nothing but awesome stuff about those guys. But, you know, is there a promotion maybe that stood out to you that treats their fighters just amazing?
Cupcake, yeah, Cage Titans, man. They're the ones.
Yeah,
I mean,
nice.
everybody has treated me pretty darn good, I must say. I mean, even
Yeah,
coming up through the amateur ranks, it would always be like, ah, watch out for that guy,
right.
whatever. He's, he doesn't pay people, or you would hear like, oh, this entire card fought and then never got paid or whatever. And I fought for some of these people, and they always treated me pretty darn good. But Cage Titans is different.
Yeah,
Mike Pulver, who runs that thing, man, he was a fighter. He fought. He was like overweight, pretty unhealthy, like unhappy in a lot of ways. I don't think he would be mad if I said that. And
yeah,
got into MMA and was like, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds. And then he lost it. And then it was like, I'm gonna fight. And then he fought. And next thing you know, he's like a 3-0 amateur. He's fighting pro. He's just like a slick businessman, and I mean that in like such a real way, not like slick,
yeah.
like he's gonna get it like unfairly. He's just
Right.
fucking good. He just knows exactly which I's to dot and which ones to T's to cross, and he's just a smart dude. And he was looking at these promotions like, I could do this so much better, make way more money, and MMA became like a passion of his, and he wanted to just have a platform to launch fighters to the next level. And it took 40 events or whatever, but before you knew it, he was legit making UFC fighters. And I've said it before, Cage Titans is like a foundation that I'm built on. Without Cage Titans, without them in my history, I'm not. Cupcakes doesn't mean shit. Nothing.
Yeah,
I'm just a fucking guy with like a so-so record. They put me in, they built me up, they gave me tough fights. I lost fights, and they kept bringing me back because they loved the way that I fought. They knew that the fans wanted to see. It would be like, oh yeah, Mike would reach out and be like, dude, more people ask to see you fight than anybody else. And there were times I wouldn't sell as many tickets as maybe he would have liked. And it was like, but we're still bringing you back because everyone's like, dude, when's Cupcakes fighting again? Where's this Cupcakes guy? and yeah, it makes me super happy to know that that's the effect I have on people, that they want to see me bang and have fun and get in there and fucking scrap. So I'm
yeah.
just a lucky man. And Cage Titans, without a doubt, man, if anyone is in like a, whatever it is, 200-mile radius and they want to fight, I would suggest that they do so and come out, because he goes out to the UFC and legit steals things from the UFC, little things, he goes out to Vegas, he comes back, next fight that I fight for him, he's got like goodie bags chilling on the chairs and stuff, and he's like, yeah, that's just what the UFC does, and I think that it's just like makes you feel good and personal, and it gives you something to munch on before the fight. I'm like, dude, you're on. So he's just, yeah, good people. Mike Pulver, Cage Titans.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, starting with Rewebbed. They are the best digital marketing agency on the planet. I love working with those guys. Founded by a guy named Ian Inman. He's on a mission to feed 1 billion kids and help 1 million entrepreneurs. Go check them out. Tell them I sent you. Alpha Outpost, amazing monthly subscription box sent right to your door every single month. You can start for $5. They send you cool stuff like this. Go use the code TOPRATEDMMA for 15% off your order. Every time that I have a guest on my show, they say that's an amazing flag. Well, this flag here and many others that I own are from a company called Combat Flags. It's a veteran-owned company. They're on a mission to donate as much money as they can to stop soldier suicide. It's an amazing organization. Go check them out, Combat Flags.
Very cool. How do you handle fear?
Fear is is a tricky motherfucker, right? So
Yeah.
I think I've said it recently, good or bad, I don't feel like I think very often. It's never been like a thing that I think about. Fear, I feel it. I know what it's like walking out to the cage at times, and you're like, fuck, what am I doing? I'm doing this again?
Right.
We just did this, did we not? And it was pretty fucking scary. What are we here doing this again? But you just march out there, and then you get in the cage, and then there's zero. Now you put me on the edge of a building, and I will piss my pants, no doubt. You stick me out into the woods, and you shut my flashlight off, I might pee myself, yes. But it's just like that fucking human instinct of like, I'm gonna survive, I'm gonna make it. Sometimes you have big weight cuts, 10, 15 pounds, 10% of your body weight is coming off in water, and you're getting to the end and you have a pound left, and that little voice in your head goes, you're gonna die. You're not gonna make it. You're gonna you get out of the sauna and you come back in, you might not live. And you have to be like, shut the fuck up. Don't say, I'm not focused on that, because again, I mean, the law of attraction, quantum physics, whatever you want to call it, every single outcome is mathematically in the universe somewhere, whether they're like realities laid on top of each other or if everything's spread out, whatever it is, every outcome is out there. And I'm a world champion UFC fighter in some, and I'm a fucking bum drug addict in others. And your goal is to just, I apologize to anybody who's a drug addict. That's not cool, but you know what I mean, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Best worst case scenario of what life could be. And your job is to just navigate through life to the best life that you want to live, and then live it. And some of us get started later than others. You know, Kentucky Fried Chicken didn't, you know, the guy didn't invent Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was like 70, you know? And then there are other people like Justin Bieber who are like phenomenal superstars, you know, at a young age. So you just got to stay focused on yourself and grind. And I tell you, as long as it's physically possible in this reality, you can get it and do it. And I'm on my path right now. So. Yeah.
Man, I think you last fought in January. When can us fans expect to see you back in the cage?
I'm hoping as soon as possible. So I just had a hard workout. I weighed myself. I weigh 150.3 pounds right now. I dehydrate to 136 from about 150. So I'm ready to make weight on a day's notice if the Contender Series called, or you know, I'm calling out every single person, and I'm serious about that. Jay Perrin, I'm just going to put his name out there. He's not going to see this until November, but I mean, you know, he says that he wants the smoke, so to speak, online, and then we offer him a fight for CES, and nothing, chirps, says he's not interested. I got guys talking to LFA, a feeder show for the UFC, and they're saying, oh, well, you know, a lot of the guys just think he has too much experience for them. It's like, at what point does the UFC just have to sign me, or whoever it is? You know, Japan, some of these huger, bigger shows overseas. Like, I have to keep fighting, and I am ready to fight. So I pray that it's before the end of the year, 100%. And I think that it's going to be sooner than that. So I'm crossing my fingers for the Contender. I know they have my name, and I know that they see what I'm doing. So whether it's another win or whatever it is, every single 135er on the planet Earth is being called out by Johnny Cupcakes Campbell right now. It's official. Any single person that will fight me and sign the dotted line, let's get it done. Jose Johnson ducked me, must have, because they were trying to set me up in Alabama with him. And as soon as they were like, all right, well, can we figure out travel expenses? Nothing, you know, chirps, gone. So he just fought on the Contender, and he's a motherfucker. He's like 6 feet tall at 135 and KOs people from the most random spots. It's like, if that guy doesn't want to fight me, let's go, you know, put me in there. I will take the head off of any current UFC fighter, I promise. Just give me a chance, you know, that's what I'm asking for.
Man, I can't wait to see you either UFC, Contender Series, whatever, man. I think what you've got going on, 30+ pro fights, man, they've got to be having eyes on you and getting you signed here soon, man. I'm excited to see you move on for sure, man. Much deserved, man. You're putting in the work, and I mean, look at that, man. It's crazy. I think that people would be crazy not to sign you right now, man. It's absolutely nuts, man. I wanted to shift to some fun questions here real quick.
Let's get it.
I've got these things here called pod decks, essentially just random questions, man. I'm going to pull one out. Hopefully it's not a flop here.
Oh, man,
let's see what this one says. If you could instantly become one, what would you be an expert in?
Ooh. Good question. An expert in, man, probably I'm gonna say judo would probably be what I would become an expert in. I think everything that I have in my arsenal right now, I'm gonna stick right to fighting. I could be an expert in a lot of things, but I think judo would make me an absolute killer. I think my clinch game is getting better every day, but I would love to fast forward that a little bit, you know, so I'm going to say judo.
Okay, right on. When you're not training and you're not fighting, man, what are you doing for fun?
I play video games pretty much every single possible second that I can play. So,
nice.
Yeah, that's you know, whether it's coaching or training, I mean, I'm in the gym for probably like 60 to 80% of my life anyway. And then, I love computers. I build computers and I love gaming, always have. It's always been like that thing that will kind of like be there for me in a lot of ways, you know, whether it's like sporting events or things that are going tough or girlfriends or whatever. Video games are like always there. So right now it's WoW Classic, but I play a lot of League of Legends and things, and I dabble in like Fortnite, but the kids are just so damn good at it. So it's
That's awesome.
Super fun.
Very cool. What's a favorite type of music for you, or do you have a favorite band that you like to listen to?
I love all music. Okay. I know that sounds so freaking cliche. I grew up, I listened to like a lot of metal and stuff. Tons of, I loved like Marilyn Manson, and I listened to like a ton of Korn and whoever it was at the time. But I listened to a lot of country as well. Yeah, so I mean, I freaking love every type of music. I guess like techno and things like that though. Right now, it's like when I'm in hip hop and like literal rap, not like what people listen to today, but like legit rap. I think is what I listen to. It's like when I'm going to the gym and it's time to kind of like get in kill mode, so to speak. I love techno, anything with like 120 beats per second or a minute, and then rap with some like some motivational lyrics, maybe, you know, like some Dead Presidents or something like that. Yeah.
Last question for you. Do you have a favorite fighter?
My favorite fighter right now, as long as his right titty isn't steroids, then 100% Israel Adesanya is my favorite fighter at the moment. You know, it's ever evolving, my favorite fighter, but that dude is just a technician and just so incredible at what he does. And I'm just nervous about his right titty. So it's like, you gotta get that figured out, bro. What's up with that titty?
Right.
I don't like that.
That's awesome.
100%.
That's awesome, man. I also wanted to give you an opportunity, Johnny, to give a shout out to coaches, teammates, sponsors, man, anything like that, man. The camera's all yours, bro.
Thank you so much. So I'm just shouting out to South Shore Sport Fighting, Bill Mahoney, Rockland, Massachusetts. You know, get at him. I got the UFC gym in Boston in my corner there. You know, I teach there, and we have incredible world-class coaches there, and just top to bottom, every type of exercise that you could possibly want, you know, jiu-jitsu, strength training, cardiovascular, bag work, everything. So UFC Boston is outstanding. Yes, I mean, that's the biggest. South Shore Sport Fighting. They're where I do everything. So all the guys over there that are helping me, you know, some come, some go, some are there all the time, some aren't. It's like the best gym, I believe, around. So they're the best. And then I have so many sponsors that help me out along the way, and they're on my t-shirts and things. And
nice.
It would be tough to name all, so I'll hold off. But I mean, so many people that have helped me, and I think that I just can't show enough gratitude for everyone. Just thank you so much to everybody. Everybody kind of knows who's in my corner and helping me out, so they know who they are. And thank you so much. And thank you too. Also, I love these things, these interviews, and are such a good time. So thank you so much for doing it.
Oh man, absolutely! It's such an honor, Johnny, to have you on my show. Like, I love your message, man, and what you bring to the table. And like I said, man, I think people would be dumb not to have you on the big show right now. And obviously, Cage Titans is a huge, awesome promotion. Can't wait to see you back in there, man. Thank you so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Eric. You have a great day.
Thank you so much for watching the show today. I so appreciate it. Please leave a comment down below. Leave us a review. Share this video. We want to get it in front of as many people as we can. I'm going to continue to bring on the best guests possible and the best up-and-coming fighters, real stories. Thank you so much for checking it out. Have an awesome day.